Imagine waking up one morning with fire burning behind your eyes. Your throat feels like you swallowed sand. Every bone in your body aches. Now imagine there is no pharmacy, no doctor, no hospital, no number you can call. Just you, the cold ground, and the sound of wind outside a cave. What do you do? What did your ancestors do 30,000 years ago when sickness came knocking and there was nowhere to run? Here is the question that nobody actually stops to think about. Before medicine existed, how did humans survive at all? And the answer is not what most people expect. Because ancient humans did not just lie down and die. They had something, and parts of it still live inside you right now. Let's go back. Way back. 30,000 years ago, the world is wild and enormous. No cities, no roads, no electricity. A small group of maybe 20 to 50 people move together. They hunt, they gather, they sleep near fire. Life is beautiful in a brutal kind of way, and then someone gets sick. Maybe a child starts coughing and won't stop. Maybe a hunter comes home with a wound that's turning green. Maybe a mother burns with fever for 3 straight days. There is no nurse, no clinic, no pill to swallow. The nearest thing to a hospital is the person in the group who has lived the longest, the elder, the one who has seen this before. Here's the comparison that should hit you hard. We have had modern medicine for roughly 150 years. Humans have existed for about 300,000 years. That means for more than 99% of human history, people got sick and survived without any of the tools we depend on today. How? That is the real question. Most people assume ancient humans were helpless. They picture it simply, you got sick, you got weak, you died. And if you were lucky, maybe the infection stopped on its own. That's the story we tell ourselves without even realizing it. They didn't know anything back then. Science didn't exist. They probably just prayed and hoped. It sounds reasonable. It sounds logical, but it's almost completely wrong. Ancient humans actually had survival systems. Not hospitals, not labs, not textbooks, but systems. Passed down through generations by memory and touch. Let's paint a picture. Imagine a woman in a hunter-gatherer group. Call her Ara. Ara watches her son wake up with a swollen jaw. The pain is obvious. He can barely open his mouth. She does not panic. She knows what to do. She walks to the edge of camp, finds a willow tree, and strips a thin piece of bark from its branches. She gives it to her son to chew. Within the hour, the swelling eases. The pain softens. Ara did not know the word salicin. She did not know that willow bark contains a compound that modern science eventually turned into aspirin. She just knew it worked because her mother knew, and her mother's mother knew. That is the first layer of ancient medicine. Plants. Passed down not through books, but through survival. Let's go deeper. One by one. Plants and natural remedies. Ancient people were not randomly chewing leaves. They were observing, testing, and remembering over hundreds of generations. Willow bark for pain and fever, used across multiple ancient cultures, from Egypt to China to the Americas. Garlic, used in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia for infections. Modern science confirms garlic has real antimicrobial properties. Turmeric, used in ancient India for thousands of years to reduce inflammation. It is now one of the most studied natural compounds on Earth. These were not superstitions. These were conclusions drawn from watching what worked and what didn't. The instinct to rest here is something fascinating. When you get sick today, what do you want to do? You want to lie down. Stop moving, sleep more. You do not want to eat much. You want to be left alone. That instinct, that pull towards stillness, is not a weakness. It is ancient programming. Ancient humans felt it too. When someone in the group got sick, they stopped hunting. They stayed near the fire. They slept through the day. The body knows. It always has. Fever, specifically, is not the enemy. Fever is the body turning up the heat to kill the invader. Ancient healers noticed this. They didn't try to crush the fever immediately. They managed it. With water, with cool leaves, with shade. Social healing. Here is the part most people never consider. When someone got sick in an ancient group, the group did not leave them behind. Not usually. The sick person was fed, kept warm, spoken to, touched, loved. Modern science now confirms what those ancient people understood instinctively. Social connection directly affects immune function. Loneliness weakens your ability to fight infection. Feeling cared for actually helps the body heal faster. Ancient humans stumbled onto this truth tens of thousands of years before we had the science to explain it. Spiritual healing and the shaman. Now here is the one that gets misunderstood. Every ancient culture had some version of the healer, the shaman, the medicine man, the wise woman. They used chanting, fire, ritual, plants that altered the mind. Modern people often look at this and say, that's just superstition. But look closer. The chanting creates calm breathing. Calm breathing lowers cortisol. Lower cortisol means the immune system can do its job better. The ritual gives the sick person something powerful. Belief. Hope. The sense that they are being fought for. The placebo effect is not fake. It is a real, measurable, documented phenomenon. The brain changes the body based on what it believes. Those ancient healers were not fooling their patients. They were healing them through the mind. Water and fever. Dehydration kills faster than most infections. Ancient healers knew this without knowing the biology. They made sick people drink broth, water, juices from plants. They used wet leaves on foreheads, cold river water to bring down dangerous heat. Simple, effective, and still exactly what we do today when a child is burning with fever at 3 in the morning. Now here is the part that changes how you see all of this. Modern medicine, the most sophisticated system in human history, did not replace ancient remedies. In many cases, it reverse-engineered them. Aspirin, one of the most used drugs in the world, derived from willow bark, the same bark Ara was giving her son. Penicillin, the antibiotic that saved millions of lives, discovered by Alexander Fleming when he noticed that a common mold killed bacteria. Indigenous cultures had been using similar molds on wounds for centuries. Quinine, the first effective treatment for malaria, came from the bark of the cinchona tree. South American indigenous healers had been using it for generations before European science caught up. Morphine, digitalis, Taxol, treatments for pain, heart disease, and cancer. All traced back to plants that ancient humans were already using. Ancient people were not primitive guessers. They were scientists running the longest experiment in human history. Their laboratory was the world. Their data was death and survival. Their results were passed down human to human, generation to generation, and we are still using their findings today. Let me leave the facts for a moment and just tell you a story. Imagine a campfire. Somewhere in ancient Europe, it's winter, the ground is frozen. A little girl, maybe 4 years old, is burning with fever. Her father has not slept in 2 days. Her mother has been grinding dried herbs into a paste since sunrise. The elder woman of the group sits nearby, humming something low and steady. One of the hunters, a big quiet man, carved a small wooden shape and placed it in the girl's hand while she slept. No one told him to do that. He just wanted her to have something to hold. That night, the fever broke. The group celebrated quietly. No shouts, just soft sounds. Someone laughed a little. The father pressed his forehead against his daughter's forehead and stayed there for a long time. Now think about the last time someone you love was sick. Think about what you did, what you brought them, how you sat near them, how you checked on them. Nothing has changed. Not really. The herbs are different now. The knowledge is bigger, but the love driving the healing, that is exactly the same. Here is the thought that stays with me after all of this. We sometimes talk about ancient humans like they were a different species, like they were less, simpler, further from us. But they were us. Same fears, same love, same desperate need to protect the people they cared about. And when sickness came, which it always did, they did not give up. They observed, they remembered, they shared what worked. They built the foundation that modern medicine eventually stood on. So the next time you take an aspirin for a headache, or make someone chicken soup when they're sick, or just sit next to someone who isn't feeling well, you are not doing something new. You are continuing something ancient. Here is what I want you to sit with. What other things do we dismiss as primitive that might actually be wisdom we haven't fully understood yet? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this made you see human history a little differently, there is so much more where that came from. Subscribe us. Every video is a door into something you thought you already knew. We will see you in the next one.